thank you all for joining this ControlUp Community Meetup number 2. So it's only our second meetup, so I apologize for those mistakes. We can only get better from here. So number 3 is going to be perfect. And the topic for today is Ask Us Anything. So we have 3 experts with us, great guys from different points of view and different walks of life and what have you, different opinions and experiences to go through and sort of debate these questions that we get and see what happens. So let's get going. So this community is for you. So the ControlUp community was founded for you, the customer, for the techie, for the partner, for the anybody who wants to learn about ControlUp. It's for you. It's not our community, it's your community. So if you ever have any suggestions on how to make it better or things that you would like to see, please let us know. Email me, db@controlup.com. Thank you very much, Eugene, for that awesome email address, db@controlup.com, and I will listen to you for sure. So the ControlUp community, just real quick, if you're not already a member, what do you do there? Well, really, it's about learning, sharing, meeting other people. It's about bringing all of the partners and customers, anyone who wants to learn about ControlUp in a place to where they can, stay up to date on what's new. Recently, we just released both a beta channel and we have the Academy channel in there, and also a documentation, the KB channel, which are really becoming more and more lively. The beta channel is really neat because we're about to soon to release 8.8, and you can start learning about it and even sign up for the beta within that channel. But if you don't have time for the beta, you can still keep up to date with other people who are talking about it and things like that. Just join the community and go to that channel, and you can sort of see what's going on. It's a great way to stay up to date. But also, if you have any questions, you can ask those questions. And the other thing is you can meet other really great people. Markus, Eugene, I don't know about myself, but definitely Sam as a really great person. So please join us. That's my advertisement for the community. I'd be remiss if I did not do that. So controlup.com/community and come have a little bit of fun with us. So of techie, for techie, by techie. Today we have over 1,000 users. We're about 4.5 months into this. 1,000 users is really amazing, almost 1,100 from all over the globe. So if anyone knows anyone in Greenland, please let me know, invite them, because I really want someone in Greenland. So let's get started. For today's experts, our panelists today, my victims, as I like to call them, or your victims, we're going to play Can We Stump the Experts, right? So let's see if we can stump them today. So first of all, we have Markus with us. I'm not going to try to pronounce your guys' last names. I can never do that. I'm horrible. You all know this. So we have Markus with us, a really great guy. Definitely a ControlUp expert, one of the most lively and active folks in the ControlUp community today. And he's from a consulting company here in Germany called braincon, and really great folks. So Markus, thanks for joining us. We also have Sam here, Samuel, the one waving. Another great guy, another truly ControlUp expert. He's a consultant here at ControlUp. But also Citrix CTB and a long-standing EUC member, another real EUC expert with knowledge even way beyond just ControlUp itself. And then we have the ringer, the main man himself, right? The guy with an office all to himself, the size of my entire apartment, Eugene. So who I just put ControlUp God. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to call him. So I just called him ControlUp God, and we'll leave it at that. So I thank you all for joining. And let's get to it, So please, folks, as you'll see let me stop my sharing. We'll go to just the, as I like to call it, the Brady Bunch screen here. We'll start taking your questions. I do have a few that people sent in, so we'll take these things first. And within GoToWebinar, boy, look at that. That's not been around for. First question is, what happened to GoToWebinar, right? But within Zoom here, there's a piece on the bottom.
Yeah.
What's this?
They still have customers.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Wow. Have any of you guys been on a GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting like in a while? I haven't seen it. So.
E2EBC 2020 was on
exactly.
I think the last
Alex is using GoToWebinar. Yeah. That explains
Of course,
all.
Alex. Of course, Alex was. So there's a piece at the bottom of your screen says Q&A. So please use the Q&A piece to ask any questions you might have. And again, let's try to play Stump the Panel. So let me organize my screen here and we'll get to the first question. So for the first question, this is one I see a lot. I've received it a lot. You know, hey, Doug, what do you think about this? And I'm the wrong person to ask. You three are definitely the right people to ask. So sort of on-prem versus cloud. And I'm talking around ControlUp, right? You know, we're migrating, you know, we sort of pushing people to, well, what's going on here? What is, on-prem versus cloud? What's your view on this? What do you recommend? Who wants to take
On-prem,
that?
man, any day.
Yeah. Eugene has been fired. Oops.
No, I listen. I have to, like, again, vendor perspective, right? You guys have to understand that, you know, vendors don't call the shots. Customers call the shots, obviously. But from the vendor perspective, the difference between on-prem and cloud is a world of difference, you know, because the ability to innovate, the ability to ship new features and to test them out on a large population of users, and then, you know, make the improvements and make the fixes as you go. This is something that we started the company as something that was looking towards the cloud from the very first days. I'm talking 2011, right? So 2011, people were looking at cloud-based stuff like it was from the jungle. You know, it was like really, really interesting, and you know, like 99% of the questions we used to get about the product were all about, wow, you keeping stuff in the cloud, you have cloud services, what is this, what is that? You know, and it was so special and unknown for people. And over time, it became like more of a regular thing. But I have to like emphasize that from the point of view of any software developer, once you have both a cloud and a on-prem solution, you're going to end up investing like 10 times more energy in supporting every on-prem customer versus a cloud customer. And the ability to innovate in the cloud, just to ship new features fast and to fix them fast and to look forward, it's just something that you can't even compare those two worlds. Now, obviously you realize that there are some customers that are going to go on-prem in the current situation, but we also see this shifting over time. So again, over time, you know, in the last 10 years, we've seen a huge shift. There are still a couple of customer populations that are interested in on-prem solutions first. But you know, if I'm talking from the vendor perspective, I would go with cloud anytime, every time. But I realize that some situations just ask for an IOP or, you know, like an on-prem solution, right?
Yeah, I agree with you on the ability to integrate.
It's a fairly good point. But what I got with lots of customers, because I'm working in the German-speaking area, so Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, so they are not allowed to send data outside of their data center, period. So no chance for cloud. Yeah, that's also.
Do you see that changing? Do you see that changing, Markus, in Germany, or is this gonna? You know, I've been here 9 years now, and I've seen the opening of the German idea to cloud and cloud services more and more. Are you seeing this also?
Yeah, for those who are allowed to send the data outside their data centers, they are considering the cloud for sure, because like Eugene said, the feature enrichment of the cloud version is way higher than the on-prem version provides, sure, and it's also easier. So I'm doing a ton of on-prem stuff. I'm not aware if I'm the only one doing on-prem worldwide. I hope there are some other.
You're not.
Thank you, Sam.
I'm the second one.
All right. So yeah, on-prem is not bad at all. It's also working very, very well. But I'm not working for ControlUp, so I can be honest. The biggest pain point in on-prem is the upgrade part. Yeah. So if you
there is a question about it in the Q&A. So that's we are reaching the point.
Yeah. So that's for me the biggest pain point, and also the biggest pain point for the customers, the upgrade stuff. But beside that, yeah, it's good. It's working. All fine.
To be honest, I have to agree with the current situation with the upgrade phase, and it's very hard for the customer. So we do have customers that decide to stay on very old version because they just don't want to upgrade. They say it's working, it's fine. I will let it like this. Now, that's something that we are trying to change, and that's something that we are looking at. Like it would be interesting to have a product, one of the like the Itai, the PM for AOP to talk about it. But yeah, that's definitely something that we are working on because like it's sometimes very hard, and if someone is doing any mistakes, it's like he needs to like most of the upgrades go through support or through braincon. So there are two ways to do an upgrade. It's either braincon or our support. So there are like very few people who knows how to do it, and it's not good for the product. So yeah.
Well, for sure, you know, I agree. Again, I'm super. I'm all behind, you know, making it easier for customers, obviously, to upgrade to newer versions. That's like, you know, it's a must. But when you look at systems at the same like level of complexity as ControlUp, you know, not much more complicated, much simpler stuff, you know, maybe just even like take Citrix, right? So I remember going to the Citrix conference once, and there was an internal kind of session. They were talking about upgrading a Citrix environment, right? And this was exactly the time when we first started planning our upgrade routines. So there was, I thought I'm going to go and listen, you know, how they do it, you know. So they had this whole session about upgrading complex environments. And the bottom line, the takeaway was, if it's a complex environment, never upgrade. You know, that was the actual, you know, takeaway from the session. You know, just install a new one, because there was so many caveats and there's so many things that could break when you're doing upgrades. Upgrades from a certain level of complexity is just this again, it has some sort of relevance to what I said about the vendor's point of view. So from the vendor's point of view, when we own the backend, then we're very familiar with what's going on there. And still, there are sometimes some problems when we upgrade. When something is on-prem, it's sort of this hybrid thing where it's our code, but we give it to a customer and they make it their own thing. And when we find it, when we need to upgrade it, and I'm not making excuses for any problems that are happening during upgrades. I'm just saying, you know, this stuff is complicated for everyone, because you find this thing at a customer site. It's not in the same place where you last left it. You know, you left it a year ago, and now they built a bunch of custom things on top of it. And accounting for all of that, when you need to upgrade, you know, usually some things are going to break. You know, it's not an excuse. We need to make it always better and better. But this is exactly the kind of thing that makes us as vendors always prefer the cloud, because when you give your code for, you know, to people it's just like open source. You know, you give it to someone, they change it, and then you need to deal with the aftermath of the changes. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get better at that as well.
Yeah. Eugene, do you know if we have any plans on making it easier? Is it possible to make it easier?
Yeah. We are. We're actually working on it. Yeah. There is concrete
on the exact question that is like, do we will still need like to create a new VM, move the disk and everything? That's definitely something that is being working on. So it's going to be fixed.
But what I also want to say, the documentation today is awesome. Benny Skoda is doing an incredible job with the documentation. I remember back in the days when I did the upgrades, there was no documentation, so it was a trial and error procedure. But nowadays, the documentation is awesome. It's complicated, but if you follow the documentation, there is a 99.999% of success. Yeah.
That's great to hear. Good documentation matters. Absolutely. So, okay. So we have some more questions coming in. We take one and that sort of goes along in line with a question we had submitted previously about MSP. So I'll read it as was asked, and then I'll also ask the same question, or also ask the question that was submitted too. Any news on the roadmap to admit, Eugene, maybe you can discuss this a little bit, but also we can debate it too, or talk about it. Any news on the roadmap to V9? Any ETA, especially interested in the MSP model? And then the same question or similar question we had submitted was, where is ControlUp's, when is ControlUp in MSP ready?
I wish I could give a definite ETA on that. Now I'm looking at some slides that should give an answer. I don't have a specific ETA for it now. We are
just to let you a few seconds to look at, when the question is when ControlUp will be MSP ready. We do have already quite a few MSP running ControlUp. So braincon knows some of them, and we do have like multiple ones. As of now, it's not ideal. That's something that is being worked on. 8.8 already brings a lot of interesting feature. We are working on removing a lot of prerequisites that were a nightmare to have as a MSP. So yeah, that's definitely something that is being working on. It will be like a few upgrades. 8.8 will bring things, and 9 will bring other stuff. So yeah, that's a journey for us, and it's as I said, we already have a MSP that are using us and pushing us to make it better, which makes our life easier, because we do have use cases and we do have people who give like from the field feedbacks, and it's like it helps to build a better product.
So the thing is with MSPs, and again, Sam is totally right. We've been working with MSPs for years. And the more we work with MSPs, the more we realize two things. One is that MSPs need a little bit of a different approach, to the ways that they see their different customers. Just supporting that way of, splitting your views and your reports into the different customers. Kind of realizing what the MSPs really need to deal with, right? Because they need to see their customers in separate views. And then there are some issues like delegation, right? Which is sometimes more complex with MSPs. And I do want to kind of add a different level of complexity on top of that, because we do get loads of questions with MSPs. And one level of complexity is when they start asking about all kinds of traffic that they can and cannot allow between the different components. And at this point, it sometimes gets totally crazy, because they have environments in which this can talk to this, but this cannot talk to this. And then they have this whole maze of firewall rules and restrictions where some of the components can talk to each other and others can't. So in general, supporting any MSP, it's a big task. But we are looking at several ways of presenting the data in ways that are going to make it easier for MSPs to look separately at the different environments. I wish I could share specific ETAs for that, but that's planned. If I get any updates live, because I asked a couple of questions live, if we get any updates, I'll get back to that.
And an important thing, MSP is a global name. Like people are referring to MSP for multiple things. You have MSP that are only managing or providing a service, and the VDI or the machine are on-prem at the customer side. Other will host everything, so we will have like more ability to do things because they will own the whole thing, or they will share a part, and it will be like the ES6 or the virtualization platform will be shared between multiple customer or not dedicated. So it's like MSP is very, very vast, and that's the reason why it takes time, because you think you talk to one MSP and you said, oh, I covered everything for him, so it's fine, and boom, the second one brings some more questions.
Yeah, that's understood. Absolutely. Next question. So thoughts, this is a good one. Thoughts on Windows 365 and ControlUp monitoring those environments, 365 AVD environments. How would we set up monitoring in such an environment?
Interesting
Eugene, I
question.
think it's your turn.
Who wants to take that one?
This
It really
sounds
depends.
like a field question. Yeah. You
Yeah,
guys
it's a
can
field question. It's someone who tried it and had some issues. So it really depends on the first thing that you need to know when a Windows 365 is you need to know if it's a hybrid Azure Active Directory join or not. So we do require to have Active Directory and a domain joined machine or a hybrid. Like we need a local domain controller. So that's the first thing. I know that some customers had an agreement to use HDX on the Windows 365. So that's another approach or another angle to look at the thing. It's not like a default thing that we want to do like for everyone, but if you have the need, and feel free to reach to your preferred sales guys, and they will love to send a quote. That being said, the ControlUp and Microsoft partnership has never been so big. So we are listening to a lot of Microsoft news and all this stuff. We are working on it. We have a dedicated guy to that. So it's like if you want to reach to Matt, Matthew Pinel is the guy to talk to. I'm pretty sure he's in the community Slack channel.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the right guy, and like it's finger pointing. Hey, Matt, just for you.
Yeah. And there's in 8.8 there's some new AVD functionality in there too, right? A bunch of AVD stuff.
AVD is not Windows 365, so that's
true.
that's the trick.
Yeah.
Like Windows 365 is Microsoft providing a service like the full machine. You pay per user per month, and that's it. You don't provide it's not your subscription, or it's not fully your subscription. So you're not paying for the compute, for example. So yeah, it's tough because but if you manage like Azure hybrid domain joined machines, then you bring the NIC is on your subscription, Azure subscription. So you can bring network traffic, and you can make firewall walls, like Azure firewall walls, to make the communication with the monitors running. So we do have customers doing it. If it's full and only Azure AD joined machine, talk to your sales guys to have a sales exception for Edge. That's the faster that we can get something running.
Markus, anything to add? What's your view on that?
To be honest, Windows 365, it's not the core business at the moment. So
it's cloud. It's in the cloud, and you're in Germany. No?
It's in the cloud, and I'm in Germany. So, Doug, what's the question? No, but AVD is a big topic, of course. But as Sam already said, AVD, you have a network interface in your on-prem world. So yeah, it's not that hard to bring AVD into ControlUp.
No, it's not hard. The integration with AVD that Matt worked with the team is kind of amazing, because it will bring other stuff even for Citrix or Horizon customer. Like FS Logic integration is a very nice addition to the product. But yeah, AVD, like adding a machine with the AVD agent running on it, you just click add machine, and that's it. It's done. Like you have power, yet it's your own subscription, so you can do whatever your security team accepts to do with it. But it's like on your own to say, I want to monitor it, and I will do it. So that's the topic.
I have one manager who loves that cost column. He loves that freaking cost column. He always gets alerts when a specific amount of money is reached, and he loves this. He always forwards this email to me. It's his best. It's his favorite column in ControlUp. But it's a manager.
Nice.
The vision, we first thought about it when in the context of when we first integrated the AWS connection, which is not a hugely popular feature with ControlUp, but it's there. Our first idea was, why not we put some columns there which are going to show the costs of different things. And then, like the few years after, we saw a bunch of products, starting to come up, which are doing similar things for the cloud. I think this is, we obviously haven't nailed the best way to do this for AWS. Maybe for ABD, it's going to be a bigger success, hopefully. But I think in general, a unified view of what your systems are doing and how much it costs, that's what's needed, because the separate things exist. And I wanted to point out something that, it's not a question that came up now, but it comes kind of a lot, even if people don't really ask, is how do you pronounce ControlUp and how do you write it, right? So you say, at least we originally thought of this as ControlUp, one word, because it's a one thing, and we try to be like a one console, unified, because you already have 2 tools or 3 tools for different things. We want to kind of bring this whole thing together. So ControlUp is like very important that it's one word. Dutch people say ControlUp a lot for some reason. Stress on the first syllable. I don't know. We prefer ControlUp. So it's and there is 2 things that I think originally were in our mind. Fun fact, by the way, the original name for ControlUp was Power Admin, which sounded like a power management tool. So that's why we ditched it. But to control, and up can mean 2 things in this context. One is, like kind of empowering people to give them more control. And the other meaning, at least in my mind, is that we're taking the control up into the cloud. So, and that's what we started doing like originally with ControlUp. So it's ControlUp in one word.
Interesting.
And for the cost, for cost, I think definitely everything that has to do with cost is always, if we bring this information in the right place in the right time, you can save people a lot of money and make our customers look good to their bosses, which is what we all want.
Perfect. That's interesting about how you pronounce it. In Germany, they pronounce my name Duck.
Yeah. Duck.
Duck.
Let's rename you. Let's rename you. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Duck. I never figured it out, but it's okay. I like them. For the next question, ControlUp on-prem. Which do you recommend between light mode and production mode? Currently using light and upgrade process is a long process, but does not work well. Production mode seems to. I'm sorry. Well, I'm just reading it. Don't.
No, it says that does work well.
Oh. Okay.
The one guy who said something
does
good.
Work well. Production mode seems to offer a simpler process, but it is stable and also recommended method. I'm a horrible out loud reader, am I? You got the gist, though. You can read it. Hopefully, the people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So normally, like the light mode is supposed to be limited for POCs. We are seeing a lot of POC going like as ControlUp is so powerful and like I'm still doing pre-sale, sorry. But yeah, like people go from POC to prod. Like I call it like POC to prod. So it's like my environment is working, it's fine. I tested everything. Up, boom, send the PO and boom, and that's my environment. I'm not touching it, and then the upgrade, it's like if you do like next finish, your environment is going to be broken. So that's not the recommended way. But we do have few KB on it. We recently we migrated a big customer that was like POC to prod, and we migrate him to SQL Express to SQL, would say normal or standard. It's stable. even if the SQL server is not available for a few minutes, hours, it's not that much a big issue. We are not storing that much data in the SQL server, so Eugene is going to kill me. But we have incidents. So if it's important for you, you will lose them. But yeah, it's like stability-wise, it's pretty. I would say it's as stable as the SQL Express if your SQL server is available. We support always on availability group or whatever, so it should be stable.
Yeah, what I see at most customers is when doing the POC, we're using light mode. But I always encourage the customer to think in advance before the POC to provide a production SQL server. So it could be a SQL server running Citrix databases. It could be a SQL server running some other stuff on it. So it's not necessary to have a dedicated SQL server for ControlUp. Yeah, that's absolutely not necessary. And also to put the POC into production, it's quite easier with a dedicated SQL server.
I wanted to point out that in any case where you need a SQL server or a database server as a backend for any system that you're deploying, and I'm talking like from the perspective of actually a professional services guy, like back in the day when I was doing professional services for all kinds of products. When you want a quick deployment, you want to be self-sufficient. You don't want to wait for other people to provision you credentials, or I remember this project at a bank I did once. It took me 2 months to get credentials for a database, and that kind of stalled the entire project. So I think it's sometimes healthy to think about POCs and production deployments as two separate things. So in POCs, your main objective is to show that the system is working, that the concept is there. If you start thinking about things like scale when you're doing POCs, I think you may be overthinking, and you may be delaying your time to value unnecessarily. So maybe the right way to go when you're POCing, do the quickest route, and when you're actually shifting to the production phase. Because I like this approach when you get to, and again, I'm not a field guy today, so by all means feel free to disagree. So, but the way I see it, when you're doing a POC, you really want to get fast to the value, so the least amount of objectives. And then I like the hackathon approach. Like how they do hackathons, and at the end of the hackathon, they scrap the code, right? So even if they got really cool stuff working, now they're going to write it properly from scratch, right? Because the idea of hackathons or POCs is just to get something working, to demonstrate the value, and now we're going to build it properly. Most of the issues I had when deploying stuff in the real world at customer sites were due to the fact that you take something, you make it really temporary and, like really quickly. And then you're required to scale that same thing to a whole production scale. And that's when things go south, normally. So to me, it's a good approach to kind of separate those two things totally. You have the POC, do it as fast as you can. And then you go to production, bring everything from scratch and plan everything thoroughly and think about high availability and, scale and security and all of that. POCs should not be bothered with this kind of questions, I think.
Amen.
Okay, I agree. Okay, next question. Is it possible to migrate? I'm not going to make a joke. Is it possible to migrate on-prem insights data to hybrid cloud?
That's a good question.
If you pay now Eugene, it should be possible.
I mean, in the software business, there should not be things that are not possible, right? So like everything is possible theoretically. I think we had a couple of customers playing with this idea, asking this kind of thing. Nobody actually went forward with it. And I mean, I can see a bunch of ways of achieving the end result. It's usually not worth the bother. But having said that, we didn't really have to approach that as a real challenge up until now. But now when people are getting pressed to actually go to the cloud, I remember this flip, the switch kind of flipped for me when I was at this conference, and there was this prospect talking to me from like a federal agency in the US, and they were going cloud first, So this was like a kind of eye-opening to me, because I was totally expecting them to go on-prem, and they actually went to the cloud. So I was thinking, okay, so what are we going to do with all the customers that already have those on-prem solutions there and are suddenly becoming cloud ready, right? So it makes total sense to actually start thinking about something like that, start moving the data to the cloud. It's not the same database backend, right? Which makes it a little bit complex, but not totally impossible, I would say. It hasn't been done, It's like so far we haven't really done this for anyone. But if you have years of historical data and you'd like kind of like hybrid reports that are going to connect your data gathered on-prem with the stuff that you starting to gather in the cloud, the requirement totally makes sense. We need to kind of approach it on a case-by-case basis and see what can be done. So, in theory, it's possible, but we haven't done it.
Here's another question that's a lot along the lines of what we've been discussing already. And this was submitted previously. Is how's the update process from ControlUp on-prem to cloud?
I think we already discussed the on-prem process, that it's harder than the cloud one. So for the cloud one, you just download the new console, upgrade your monitors, upgrade your data collectors, update your engines, and you're done. So easy peasy.
You change a registry value as the on-prem one. The cloud private something.
If you migrate from on-prem to cloud, yeah, you have to change the private cloud key. Yeah. But just for the whole update process, that's at least how I got the question. It's easy peasy in cloud. So 10-minute task and you're done.
I think the question was how to migrate from on-prem to cloud, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, how to migrate from on-prem to cloud.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So yeah, the process is straightforward. You run the console. You ask your sales or pre-sales guy to switch your organization as a cloud one, and then you have like few registry value. There is a procedure that is almost easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Now that I have automated actions, automation feature, what can I do with it?
Automate things.
Period.
So
that's what we pay Sam for. Yeah. So
and
I actually
it's quite a lot. Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's we actually and obviously Sam and Markus probably have some nice stories from the field. I do have some visibility to what the people are actually doing with the automation feature, which is pretty cool. And I like to look not only at the things that are kind of used across the board, which is like the memory optimizations and the process optimizations, which we're doing for background sessions, but we're also a lot of people are doing their own custom things, and sometimes that's where the really interesting stuff is. A lot of automation scenarios, and I'm talking about those custom things that everybody has built for themselves. I actually went over a few dozens of those, and there are very interesting stuff getting done. A common theme is killing offending processes in all kinds of ways. So that's, I think, the main feature, the number one feature of ControlUp ever, is killing all kinds of processes. And now with automation, you can do this even more efficiently. You do all kinds of cleaning up disk space, printers, caches, cookies, all kinds of garbage, right? So all kinds of garbage gets cleaned with automations, and preparing all kinds of stuff for the users, so like mounting profile containers and stuff that you would think stuff like GPP or logon scripts or other preferences like user environment management products would do. A lot of people actually use automations for that for all kinds of reasons, also a lot of like maintenance tasks, like in tandem with schedule triggers. They do all kinds of reboots and restarts of services and stuff that sometimes it looks like it reacts to conditions, and sometimes stuff that it definitely looks like it's scheduled. So I'm seeing a lot of different very creative automation use cases. I'm sure Sam and Markus can add some on top of that.
But like the thing that I'm using a lot with prospect of customer is like going to help desk people and ask them their top most 20, 50 most recurring tickets, not incident, but like tickets, what the people are doing like on a daily basis. And sometimes like support level 3 or 4, depending on how many they have, even don't know that they are still doing that. They just gave a procedure like 2 years ago, and the guys are doing like hundreds of times a week. And then like what I do as a pre-sale is that I take like the top 20 and I create 3 buckets. First one is we do have a script-based action that is already done for that. So easy, boom, done, automation. Second bucket is like we need to develop a script to fix that, but it's quite easy, or it's and the third one is like let's say it's password reset or whatever. We're not going to automatically set a default password for everyone. So I said that one we will not automate, and that's it. And usually, like on all the customer I did that work, it was always between 30 and 50% of the top 20 were fully automated. We could automate them. I could not say it, but yeah, it's a process, and the fact that you don't rely on the Citrix gurus because they just hear about the big issues and they say, no, I don't have big issue every day. But the guys at the support do have tickets every day, and they, like that's where the ROI is, and where you can like really show value to.
Perfect.
Yeah, I totally second what Sam is saying. The support guys are the guys to bother about this stuff. But what I also want to add is within ControlUp community, one of the ControlUp pre-sales guys from the US, I can't recall the name unfortunately, shared a PDF with some use cases, with some example use cases. And I encourage everybody to join the ControlUp community first.
I think it was Bill, right?
Can't recall.
London?
Don't know. Sorry.
I think it's London or Lindell.
Okay.
No, it's not Lindell.
I'll
Lindell
find
is
it.
from
I'll
UK,
find it.
But
I'll
yeah,
find
it's
this and I'll
London.
post it back and surface it in the community for all you guys. So yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
so everybody should post their use cases. That would be awesome, because I have a long list of use cases, but yeah, it's not a one size fits all. So
anything cool?
I haven't
cool
seen
you've
it.
done recently?
I haven't seen it on the Slack.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
It was
like Markus's little secret there.
maybe. Yeah.
No, but yeah, it would be interesting. One thing on that side is that the document you saw and that has been shared. We are working on community trigger pack, where you like customer will be able to download them and deploy them in their environment. Like we will have like a Citrix one, a AVD one, or whatever one, and you will pick the one that you really need. And then, because what we saw is that if we provide them, we do have community trigger already in the product, but if we put like all of them, like we now support, before it was Citrix and almost that was it. Then we bring Horizon, then we bring AVD, we have Parallels customer, we have like, and it became a mess in the console. So the idea is to provide a community pack.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely love that. Okay. So next question. These things are so long and my eyesight's so bad. Insights are supposed to be sunset. However, we see some new features pop up. Is Insight sunset, or should we expect enhancements to Insight while you catch solve capability up to some of the new features that Insight gives?
Yeah, you made it.
I'm also dyslexic, so the shit moved around on me. It's awful.
Nice. That was pretty good. That was pretty good, man. No, anyway,
So please make your question short.
Yeah. Insights is going to be sunset, hopefully by the end of 2023. However, sunset is the most beautiful time of the day, you know. So it's so don't be surprised if there are hidden gems popping up here and there in Insights, because some things are just, you know, we were already kind of almost ready or developed. So, but no major innovation is planned over there. We're actually closing the gap between Solve and Insights. At the moment, the actual user population of both is kind of similar, right? So it's actually a similar number of customers using Insights and Solve. But we are definitely expecting everyone to shift to Solve slowly.
Perfect. So, and we have about 10 minutes left, and this is an interesting question. I wanted to ask this one last. It was submitted, and I do get this question quite often as a sort of direct messages to me or in conversations. You know, we love what you're doing, Doug. We love ControlUp, but how do we sell this to our management? You know, I love it, but my management is like, oh, we need to save money, whatever. How do we sell? So the question as written is, how do we prove the value ControlUp brings to management? How would you guys, I'm a manager now, I'm a boss. How do you sell it to me?
As a pre-sale, I would love to have the answer, really. That's my job. But what kind of work is that the thing I was talking about just earlier with the ticket thing, and if you can a bunch of tickets, usually you get, like, most of the customer are either outsourcing their support or they're paying per ticket. And if you remove like a bunch of tickets per day or you show value, because you remove like money at the end of the month. So that's pretty good. What we also see is that techies and management are not the same guys. Like usually the techie likes to see script and automation and like I can troubleshoot my log duration. Management don't care at all. Like they are happy if we can fix the problem, but the way of doing it, if it takes like few minutes or few hours, it's mainly the same because the guy is there. So he need to do something. So what they really like is when we can prove that with ControlUp, we have a better user experience, and that's the shifting we are doing from a monitoring, or like we were a monitoring solution, and it's not that we're more than monitoring, but now we are a bit shifting with the user experience and proving that the experience is better with ControlUp than before. So we are using that during POCs, even in 3 weeks. For some customer, we see huge change within 3 weeks. So it's nice, and this is going through reports and dashboards. So we already have a bunch of dashboards that are pretty cool. Of course, there is not enough, but we are working on it. But we do have custom dashboards that are we can do pretty much whatever we want. So we have access to the data. Now we have even like the PowerShell SDK to get information from the real-time console. So we can build reports, and usually management loves reports. So if you can produce the nice or the good report that they want, usually it convinces them that they need to go further with the product and then go and hopefully buy the thing.
Yeah, this has been a recurrent question. You know, obviously, many people want to know, how do you sell stuff to managers, right? That this is the $1 million, sometimes more, questions. The thing is that historically, you know, from the very onset, we were geared towards selling to the technical person, you know, the approach, our whole, you know, the way we worked with, you know, the whole pre-sale phase was always to kind of make the technical guy empowered by ControlUp, trying to figure out what they are lacking today, and, you know, showing how ControlUp can help them do the stuff, and then have them pursue the management. Now, I obviously understand how, you know, going directly to the management is a great approach, and you know, it's always good to have some ammunition, you know, to be equipped with when you go into management and you show them dollar values. However, you know, there's just one point there for kind of for something to think about. I almost haven't seen a scenario where a manager comes to the technical team and says, you know, here's this tool, you know, use it. That I never saw working. The other thing that I see working is technical people coming to the managers saying to them, this is what is going to win, because remember, we had this and this and this. You know, they kind of already do the work for you. This kind of thing I know to work. The other approach, you know, selling to the management, this is still a kind of an enigma. You know, still nobody really knows how to do this for everyone. We are working on documents that are going to, you know, demonstrate some examples of how we can bring real ROI, and we have some numbers on that. A lot of those are speculative, and, you know, Luke is, you know, in the Q&A section, Luke Irvin is making a lot of good points, and, you know, and it's saying, I'm just going to quote because this is not exactly a question, but he's saying, selling ControlUp to top managers, all you need is a 2-page executive level report that shows trends that UX is getting better. Very simple. Yeah, I totally agree, except, you know, getting to a point where UX is just getting better, and this is so clear cut, you can demonstrate it right away. This is the tough thing. You know, we're going to have a bunch of reports that are going to show the UX trends over time. The thing is that it's a moving target, and it's a permanent struggle to get to a point where your environment really shows a systematic improvement in the UX, you know, especially during like POC, right? Normally what you see during POCs is a couple of really bad examples of really bad problems, and then you're able to demonstrate how you're able to solve those problems, you know, and sometimes save money solving those problems. But to get to a point where your entire organization drifts from bad UX to a better UX, that takes a lot of time and effort, and usually that's not going to happen during that phase where you need to really pursue your management. So the one I can, you know, only say that what works for sure is get the technical people on your side, because from the way I see it, if a construction worker says to their, you know, managers, you know, I need this power to do my job, and otherwise, you know, it's going to take me a lot of time and effort, and with this tool I can achieve better results, the managers would be really dumb not to supply them with this tool, you know. And the other way around, I just haven't ever seen working. You know, the managers can never force, or sometimes even suggesting a tool to the technical people just turns them off, you know, some kind of ways. You know, they need to choose their own tools. So yeah, it's definitely an ongoing mission here to find what clicks with the management and what really pursues them here. Good question.
That's it. Trying to get budget is the thing. You know, it's 2023, budgets are always tight. You know, it's how do you explain to them, you know, I need the money for this, right? And I think it was Sam that says, they say, well, I don't care. Well, you're already hired. Fix it, right? That's what my boss always said. Well, we're already paying you. You'll make it happen. Damn you, boss man. Damn you. But there's some great reasons. Guys, we're basically out of time, so I don't want to ask another question because it'll open up a can of worms that we don't have the time for. And I definitely appreciate your time. I hope everyone enjoyed this session. And if you guys didn't have anything else to say, last words, I'll let you do that here in a second. I have to learn to read better out loud, and I'll work on that for the next one. Well, I again apologize for the time issue. It's a series of mistakes there, so we'll make sure we don't do that again. As Sam told me, it happens twice a year, the time change. So I should be prepared for that in November, October, something like that. I'll figure out
reminder.
Remember, every
Yes.
time you had to install Windows Update before the time zones changed, and at least here in this part of the world, that was a problem.
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember Y2K running around with that little floppy disk, seeing if the machines were, if they were all Y2K compliant, you know? Boy, that was I remember that very well. And if you're not a member of the ControlUp community, please join. You know, there's many great reasons. These guys have mentioned a few, but we have conversations like this. And, you know, if you have a question, just throw it up there. You know, someone will try to get back to you, you know, or a few people. And if nobody does, ask it again. It helps to get off of our lazy asses. That's always a great way to get someone's attention, right? But I thank you all for you know, I thank you three guys there. The three of you. Can I do? That's weird. So the three of you for taking the time to do this with us. I've really enjoyed it, and I'll go ahead and give you guys the last word. Anything if you want to say? I know Sam's always good for a last word or a last expression.
Check-in is open.
So today we're truly a work from anywhere company right now, right? You know, I'm sitting here in my house in Berlin. Markus, where are you? You're in a hotel, but where?
In Mainz, city of Mainz. It's quite near to Frankfurt.
Oh, okay. And Eugene, you're at the ControlUp offices, right? I've been in that room.
Yeah, 12th floor. Pretty good.
Okay, I didn't know what floor it was. Someone took me through and told me to follow them and put me in that room. It was a lot like the police station, but
you know, there was people are asking for a recording of this, which is a good sign. So, you know, probably you're going to post something in the community, and maybe there is a way. So I'm looking forward to another one of these, you know, a couple of months down the line. Probably we should do this every now and then. I think it's a good way of inviting people to, maybe we can, you know, wrap this in different ways for different times.
Let's try to find real experts.
Yeah, for example, or people who know something about the roadmap.
That would be amazing.
I keep messaging Yoni here. Yeah.
We do have a plan. So the goal is once things settle down a little bit, we'll have probably maybe these once a month or once every 2 months, and we'll have a rotating panel. So I've reached out to a few folks that are interested, you know, internally. If you'd like to be on a panel, please let us know. We love all views, all insights, you know. So we will do a lot of these ask us anything sessions, because they're really valuable, right? And see where they go. As far as recorded version, it will get posted hopefully tonight. I just need to wait for it to download, and then I will put a little intro on it and post it up to the community, to our YouTube page, and then the community. I am working on a ControlUpCommunity.com website, which will house all this stuff too. So it'll have our Slack archives and the videos and things like that. All the cool stuff created in the community by the cool kids, right, will live up there. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, we'll get this posted in the community right away. And if you guys have topics for future events, let us know. We'll make those. We make dreams come true. I can't read, but I can make dreams come true.
Yes, guys.
I think that's it.
Thank you very much for setting up.
Hey,
thanks everyone.
Hey, thank you all, and thank you all for attending this ControlUp Meetup number 2. Number 3 is going to be great. Number 2 is great. Number 1 was pretty darn good too. Okay. See y'all later.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day. Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.